Welcome back to the Armchair Generals.
Where we talk about 40K news, tactics, lore.
And so much more. We hope you enjoy the video.
Welcome back to Armchair Generals. I am Crash. I'm here with Nova Star and El Scotcho.
Good morning,
and
everybody.
We are watching the Warhammer preview. So what do you guys think we're going to see on this?
Well, I am super excited. I'm hoping that we get some, I mean, it's going to be Space Marines, I'm betting, but hoping we get a big new shiny Primarch model that happens to have a strong wolf flavor.
So before they said they're going to touch on either all or most of their major game systems.
Yeah.
So I'm not sure what they're going to show for 30K, but it'll probably have to do with their Road to Theramis project, which is Dark Angels versus Night Lords. With AOS, I imagine it's going to be the Sons of Behemoth Giants that are coming out either next month or in October. And then for 40K, yeah, it's probably Space Marines.
Okay. Yeah, I'm thinking we're going to get previews on like the Invader ATV a little bit more and probably the Goliath tank.
Yeah, seems sensible.
I have no idea on the stuff outside of 40K.
Yeah.
Goliath tank, which one's that?
Placement for the Predator or...
Oh, the Gladiator.
Gladiator, okay. I thought it was the Goliath.
It's okay. At least it's not a Hammerbane or a Bane Hammer or a Stormbane.
And double checking.
All right, here we go.
Welcome, we are live. Welcome
I can hear that.
Preview online, Shadow, Iron.
I hear that too.
I am Adam Troke, and I'm joined by the wonderful Eddie Eccles, who'd like to welcome you to another Warhammer Preview online.
Yeah, absolutely. A pleasure to be here again, Adam. A pleasure to be running another one of these awesome Warhammer previews. It's always fun to show off new stuff to people who are excited about seeing new Warhammer. It's got a really cool lineup of stuff that I'm sure you'll agree. Yeah, it's just a pleasure to share it with all the people who turn up to check it out.
I think you hit the nail on the head. It's been a really fun week in the Warcom team. I would say office, but we're almost entirely working on various homes or dungeons or bunkers or whatever we've got. It's
Dungeons?
Really fun seeing all of the content, the videos, the pictures, everything that
Hey, he ain't judging.
come together, working with the Spotskin Studio, the Vintage Studio, to make sure we get everything right. We've got a cool lineup. It's been 40K-tastic for a little while now, and there's still going to be some Warhammer 40,000 within this preview. There's a milieu of other content as well. What are you excited about? You've seen all the little logos, the different systems. Which one is piqued your interest the most, Eddie?
Audio issue.
For some reason, it said to mute me. I don't know why. Yes, so I think we're obviously, we've had a lot of Warhammer 40,000 recently. There's been loads of really cool stuff. We've had a brand new edition. We've had new Space Marines, new Necrons. But apparently, we make even more games than Warhammer 40,000. So this is a really nice opportunity to kind of have a look at some of the stuff that's coming up for the other games. I think I'm sure, like you, Adam, I'm a Renaissance Warhammer hobbyist. I kind of dip my toe into all the various Warhammer pools. So I'm particularly excited, I think, to see what Age of Sigmar is going to bring. That's the other big system, obviously, for Warhammer, but there's lots of cool stuff in this preview. I'm a big fan of the various Warcry miniatures that we've seen so far. I think everything that's come out for Warcry so far has been an exceptional miniature and just a really cool piece of the lore. But I think I'm excited about everything, really. I know you're a big Necromunda player yourself, Adam?
Yeah, that's absolutely right. Exactly where I was going to go. The title of the preview, Shadow, Iron, and Broken Realms. If you follow the Necromunda articles that go out on warhammercommunity.com, you might
Spots.
He refers to it here. That's what I'm excited about. I'm an avowed Necromunda collector. Collected in some of since the 60s.
Iron has to do with Necromunda?
4 years.
Since you were a Jew.
Right, since I was a
It
kid.
may, because I know they're doing new
The chat has gone wild with these things that people are excited about. Quite a lot of love for the Horus Heresy.
new gangs, or at least new iterations of the gangs.
Getting excited for Age of Sigmar and all sorts. So, as well as the things that we're excited about seeing today,
Necromunda is something I want to get into.
I've been into a little bit of hobby, Adam. I think, like a lot of people in the world, I've been doing a fair bit of Warhammer 40,000 recently.
I've got two Necromunda gangs, but I actually use them as cultists.
So, but still, Warhammer 40,000, I embarked on an orc army about a year and a half ago, I don't know if
They're
anyone.
way cooler than their actual cultist models.
So I was looking over the models that I painted recently. I think I'm on about 70 models, and I was sort of thinking, if this was a Custodes army, I probably would be into about 4,000 points at this point. But I've just about broken the 1,000 point barrier, so I've still got a little bit of a way to go before I manage to make it all the way up to kind of 2,000, 3,000 point force. But I'm really enjoying making them so far.
All right, guys, I love that you're doing this. But
So also predominantly Warhammer 40,000 myself. I'm properly in Primaris Dark Angel land. Task Force Zephon has left its firstborn roots and is now becoming Primaris in grand scale. So I've been painting warriors and tanks and intercessors. I was up entirely too late last night painting one of the awesome dreadnoughts. So yeah, just loving it, absolutely loving it. Chat, let us know what hobby you're up to. And also, my favourite question whenever we're on a live stream is, I'm vaguely curious where you've tuned in from. It's like a overcast 150 BST here in the UK. Where is it you are? Have you got up in the middle of the night to join us? Is it a really early morning somewhere out in the US? Give us a shout and let us know where you're from. Already the chat's gone wild. It's one of my favourite things. Everything from Cornwall to Madison, Wisconsin. I love it. Delaware, London. There's quite a lot of folks joined us from overseas. It's really exciting to see.
Either of you subscribers and can comment?
Oh, I've been commenting.
And
hold up, I am. I had to do it on my phone though.
I think it's just the end of that.
Is it? Yeah, I've been to Australia twice and I've never managed to work out the time thing. So
It's just different. It's just different clock.
Toriel Black,
They go for
one
like
of our,
14.
yeah, Toriel Black, one of our regular Australian.
Everybody picks on the Aussies.
Could be right if I'm wrong.
I mean, it's just such a low-hanging fruit, right?
9 hours.
Yeah.
So yeah, in that case, good night to you. Right. So the way this is going to work, we've got a few minutes before we're going to start the actual previews. But what we've got is a slew of previews. We're going to go through all the different topics that we've talked about. We've shown in all of our pictures. We've got stuff for Horus Heresy, Warhammer 40,000, Warhammer Age of Sigmar, Warcry, we've got Warhammer Underworlds. It's a wild and varied set of topics. If you're in the chat, keep your comments. If you're not in the chat and you want to join in the conversation, I believe the chat is restricted to subscribers only. Sometimes it goes a bit crazy if you open it to everybody in the whole world. And a big shout out to the moderation team, especially the one and only Vincent Notley, who will be helping keep things running smoothly. Right. So, sorry, the voice in my ear said that we've got up to and including 7 minutes before we go live.
Oh, good Lord.
So,
I think it's probably worth saying as well, Adam.
Well, this is just space filling. That's good. I don't feel bad getting it.
Really cool videos or one of the images that you've got.
And we can clip
You don't need to kind of
some of this out.
see it. We're going to make sure that all of the
So
images and all the
I'm going to make a very wild prediction.
very soon afterwards on the Warhammer.
Corn Berserkers on Juggernauts.
You kind of
Oh, that'd be super cool.
What was that? I couldn't hear you over the volume.
I'm going to make a wild prediction. Corn Berserkers on Juggernauts. That's what I want to see.
I mean,
rather
you wouldn't complain.
Right? I mean, the Imperium gets Thunderwolf Cavalry. Chaos need Corn Berserkers on Juggernauts.
I fully agree. And the Imperium now have intercessor bike units.
So here's one thing I will counter with. I don't personally, and I've always had a problem with corn juggernauts in 40K for one reason. Berserkers just wouldn't bother. They just rush the enemy on foot, in my opinion.
So why
By
do
that
Corn
token,
Warriors
fantasy corn
Fantasy do
bother either.
I know. Well, yeah, but right now the only models that you see on juggernauts are, well, commonly I should say, are
Well,
the
I mean,
bloodletters.
Here's the thing, though, Karn. You can, even in the lore, you can go up to Karn and like have a conversation with them. Like they have to be able to travel from place to place. But I mean, once they're on the battlefield, then it's basically over.
The
Yeah.
butcher's nails take over.
Yeah, but they still have some coherency to get from point A to point B.
literally
And all a Juggernaut's going to do is increase how many skulls you can reap for corn. So I think they'd be vying over who could get a Juggernaut.
Yeah, maybe. I don't know. Sorry, go ahead, George. Or Crash.
A very good example of a Corn Berserker or near Corn Berserker is actually in the Night Lords trilogy by Dembski Bowden. There's a Corn devotee amongst that warband, and they constantly have to calm him down. And
you talking about Uzel or Uzak?
What was that?
Are you talking about Uzel or Uzak? I don't remember his exact name.
I don't remember his name either. But yeah, they constantly have to calm him down and settle him down. And then once they're on the battlefield, there's no getting him to calm down.
There's also a really cool depiction of a Corn Berserker in Storm of Iron by Graham McNeil.
It's been quite some time since I've read Storm of Iron.
Well, he's this really awesome fighter, and he gets taken out by like his armor menial when he has his armor off, and then the spirit of the armor calls to the menial, and the menial hops in and just assumes his identity, and like the armor like all energizes and buffs him up, and no one even questions it.
I remember that part. Interesting. But I mean, at the end of the day, half of what's in 40K makes 0 sense.
That's true.
Did you catch the part in the new rulebook where they actually, where they have the normal story of how there's 1,000 chapters each with 1,000 Marines. Right under that, there's a blurb saying like tantamount to how awesome Space Marines are that the normal Imperial citizen actually thinks this is true. So that they actually acknowledge that almost all. So for all of our viewers too, any 40K lore that you read is going to be fluid. It's not stagnant. It's not set in stone. There's a few things that are probably hammered, like there is an emperor, there are chaos gods, but everything you read from 40K is from the direction of a unreliable narrator. So just remember that.
Yeah, that's actually
Gives
really
them a
good
little
point.
slip room when authors take liberties or things get missed.
Which is kind of frustrating sometimes when one author says one thing and another author says another, because they're both equally true and not true.
At least they've gotten better over that over the years, and that's part of having that kind of formulaic writing style that we talked about before. But yes, earlier novels, it was rampant.
That's part of why I can't stand the Armchair novel. I know you guys both love it, but it's too loosey-goosey, I mean, and I know that's part of why you guys really, really like it.
That's the exact reason why I like it.
Like what?
Eye of Terror.
Oh, yes. But Eye of Terror was also published, like we spoke about previously, at a time when the lore was nowhere near as well defined as it is now.
Yeah.
But yes, it is very loose with the canon.
Well, that's back in the day when the Ultramarines had a librarian that was half Eldar. So, I mean,
I have that codex.
I mean,
the Space Wolves didn't come from the Fang; they came from just a little fortress.
yeah. Or like Ragnar's hair color switching, throughout the years.
Ragnar will always be a blonde.
Yep. But if you read the novels.
We are right on the cusp of our
But one of our
They just
painter.
right on the cusp of kicking off the preview.
All right.
We've started a video.
Poor Ninbate's got a lot of editing to do.
You see, Belt?
Secretary and Idbate, get to it.
Oh, here we go. Here we go. So cool.
Yeah.
About time.
I really like that model.
I want to paint it. Hexagrammation?
Hexagrammaton. And it's like part of the reason the Dark Angels are so dang complicated.
Some of the names they make up.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Oh,
I'm hoping they get a revamp for Night Lord's rules.
yeah. Those look like some new termies.
Those are new Terminators.
Two of my favorite legions.
Yep.
I think he's the first Primarch on a cover.
Yeah, maybe.
Oh, considered it pre-ordered.
Yeah.
The chip is beeping.
The Horus Heresy. What a way to
Well, you're a collector, so
coming very, very soon.
Oh, I have all the other ones.
I believe.
Can't not get the last one, right?
Horus Heresy, Crusade. How exciting is that, Eddie?
So it's very exciting. I think this is a book I think both myself and yourself can be excited about. I think it's no secret that we both have.
That was a strange way to put that.
So it was really funny.
Legion Divide.
We got a coffee table, and this is relevant. My wife asked me, "Hey, do you have any cool 40K books you want to put on the coffee table?" And I just looked at her, and I was like, "I don't know if I could love you any more than right now."
coffee table can bear the weight.
But then again, I also said, no, I don't want to put any of my good 40K books up there.
Your wife is pretty awesome.
Yeah, I will have to say that.
Your daughter's pretty awesome too.
It's a really vicious and bitter campaign between the two forces, and you essentially you have one of the most cold and cruel and calculating of Horus's lieutenants going up against one of the most clinical and precise of those, the Lord of the Emperor, and it's a really interesting matchup that's been explored a little bit through the Horus Heresy novels we've seen, and now we get to replay that with our models and our armies.
Yeah, I think
I want to see a full
there's
novel
nice thing
for
here
it.
as well, is the Dark Angels in many ways are the kind of
Model for what?
as they were meant to be. They
The
were kind of
Dark
cohesively-
Angels versus Night Lords.
Oh yeah, like a Dark Angels versus Night Lords box. That'd be cool, like they did with the.
I would 100% love if they did plastic Mark II Marines.
Yes.
That's probably
in the Night Lords.
my favorite of the older Mark armors.
Absolutely.
I like Mark III, but Mark II is really cool too.
There's nobody who reads any of the Night Lords that goes, yeah, I can think these guys seem like a good.
What's the one that was
You can,
without the beaky helm, but with all the studs on the armor?
Oh, that's the Mark V.
Gonna be the bad guys.
That's another.
And the reason it has studs is because they're running out of resources, so they used
Night-
basically welding bolts to bolt on plates of armor to where it needed to be repaired instead of actually just repairing the whole shoulder or leg piece.
dirty little bits in order to even the odds.
Like, they look cool and spiky, but they're actually just bonding studs. So basically 40K versions of rivets.
Wax some images up on screen, and we can talk through it. So the first thing, I guess, is the
I mean,
Horus
that book
Heresy,
is pretty.
series
Mhm.
from
Oh, 100%.
renowned for
Those books are,
lore-filled books.
I'll admit, they're expensive. They're all around $100, $115, but they are amazing inside. Like the amount of
Artwork
lore and content you get,
for a section of Horus Heresy.
they're not like normal. They're normal publications.
This series,
Yeah.
Crusade, as we said, deals with the goings on between the Dark Angels.
I want one of those Titans. Those are the newer.
Surface.
The Warbringers with the big old
Yeah.
beetles with the cannons in the back.
Yep.
Finish.
Don't know what I'd use it for other than, hey, look cool. Look at what I got, guys.
I think they're all Apocalypse now.
Oh.
You used to be able to run in 8th edition a Warhound in normal 40K because it was exactly 2,000 points.
One of my favorite things in these books, and I think
That would be dumb.
the
I knew someone who would take a single Warhound to a tournament, and that was his army.
the pictures of like,
Yeah, how do you do in said tournament?
He'd either win really big or lose really big.
Yeah.
Well,
What was it? He used the double flamers, that way he would never miss, because he's like, yeah, I'm not taking a chance to roll misses with my gun.
Yeah, that makes sense.
and putting original spins on.
does make sense. And I mean, with a Titan either an army is built to take it down or it's not.
I mean, if you don't know what's coming, you've got, I mean, back in 8th, there were almost no vehicles in the meta on a regular basis unless you were facing Dark Eldar. So, I mean, nobody's going to build to take that on. Not really.
When I was in the Fort Road office, there was a whole bay of them, and they were like illuminators.
I'm really looking forward to seeing more mechanized lists again.
Amen.
My goal is to get all 20 Primarch models, like beautifully pro painted, and just putting them in a nice IKEA cabinet next to my desk.
Oh, all the Forge World ones
Mm-hmm.
for 30K. That'd be quite the project.
Oh yeah, it would be several years of collecting and getting these things commissioned.
Would you get them commissioned at masterwork level?
I would like to. That would be the goal.
Show us the next thing.
Oh,
Ooh, there's the new pretties.
Those are the new first company Terminators.
Oh, I
They're
need
so
some of
good
those.
looking. So good looking.
They are the sort of elite
Oh.
of the Night Legion.
oh, boys, I need some of those.
But also,
So I got to reading about those Volkite weapons. Those things are nasty.
It's really funny. The community for 30K has all agreed that they make a choom sound,
Yep.
kind of like Dune when they fire.
Yep.
The best looking Terminator edition we've ever seen. So I mean, you're absolutely right.
Some of the best. Those are definitely the best.
How did we ever think these?
The level of detail on them is incredible.
So you can see this kind of.
I think for my money, they're tied because the new Dark Angel Terminators are.
Oh yeah, those new Dark Angels. I hope they show those crash. They are the pretty.
Designed for brutality, but that is not.
I have a whole Alpha Legion I need to build, but my eyes keep wandering to the Night Lords.
Weaponry or heavy flame.
Yeah, I haven't decided who I want to play 30K wise. Part of the thing is here where we're at, me and Crash,
There's no,
30K. Yeah,
You
No
guys could
30K.
play with each other.
And I think also
that sounded bad, Nova. Really bad.
Well, that's all you need is one opponent. Ooh, 25,000 viewers.
I just noticed that too.
Oh, these
That's a
things
lot.
are so awesome looking. I would use these as 40K Terminators too.
Oh yeah.
Just call those chain axes.
Except the Volkite weapons aren't really in 40K, although we got some hope because that new Premier Lieutenant has a Volkite pistols. So here's hoping.
There's a few units in 40K who have Volkite.
There's a AdMech
is the
tech
love,
priest with this.
Also, there is a on the Torox it's a pattern of Terminator armor the Loyals can take.
Heretic and
Tartarus?
Oh yeah,
Tartarus, yes, they have a Volkite pistol.
yeah. The Terminator Sergeant can take a
I
Volkite pistol.
did a few little nuggets of Dark Angel lore in there. I really like.
Sorry, y'all. I gotta get a drink in.
Oh, you're fine.
Wayne and Luther and lots of very, very cool characters, which I think all have their own kind of tragic background. The divide they ended up on.
it's a great
More
time to
preview,
look at,
less talking.
Yeah, I know. Amen.
get a chance to have a
That's our job.
Our job.
That's right.
be excited about. Bailey is giving me the signal. He says he's wrapping up the next video preview. Everybody hold on tight. We'll be right back after this.
Oh,
My gang before my house.
Ooh, new Orlok stuff.
Ooh.
Got some.
Ooh, those are
Space Dobermans. Yes.
There's the House of Iron.
Yeah. So is it just me, or does anybody else get like a 80s dark future vibe from those guys, like Terminator Sorry, I didn't hear you crash.
So the House of Iron.
Oh, I said
That's
like a cyberpunk vibe.
Yeah.
So what I actually do, I wonder if I have them. I have House Warlock Gangers, and I use Scion heads,
hmm
and those are cultists for me.
and for me, this is
Right on.
I might actually have some available to look at. Give me a second.
I like Necromunda, but
The rules seem complicated, kind of like the failed reboot of, what was that warband 40K one that
Shadow War
me and, huh?
do you mean Shadow War Armageddon?
Yeah.
I wouldn't say that failed. That's what inspired the revitalization of both Necromunda and then Kill Team.
Kill Team, yeah. Kill Team was the one that me and Tech Priest, the Dave,
Yeah, I love the concept of Kill Team, but the rules, I just find them overly complex.
yeah. When
I
it
did
takes
not
3
have
hours to
any.
play a game with 15 minis aside, that's ridiculous.
I will make sure to have them Monday so I can show our viewers my cool little easy to do conversion.
Yeah, we can show them off.
So what they are, they're basically Alpha Legion cultists. That way they look more militarized than the very disjointed, like Ganger slum look of the normal cultists.
But no, I very much agree with you there, Scotcho. I think Kill Team's too overcomplicated.
Yeah, and unfortunately, I think that's why you don't see anybody play it. I mean, we tried that one game, and I mean, I was playing orcs, and I only had 2 guys that really actually shot, but the ridiculous amount of time it took to resolve those attacks was, nail in the coffin for that.
I would like to see like Kill Team Second Edition with revisions to the rules, especially to eliminate the mass collapse of your kill team when one guy fails a nerve test. Morale test.
Whatever it
Nerve
was.
test.
Yeah. It makes sense with orcs. I mean, they're fractious. They, if the big one gets killed, they leg it. That's within the lore and well established in 40K. So that doesn't bug me for like orcs as a faction, or perhaps some of the Imperial Guard. But yeah, I mean, yeah, one dire Avenger dying, potentially causing your whole Eldar kill team to Vamoose is pretty ridiculous.
What are your thoughts on Kill Team there, Nova?
The only time I did it, I think I did 2 games because I was teaching people how to play at my local store when I worked as the miniatures guy at TBS Comics. It was just very complicated, like almost complicated for the sake of being complicated.
Oh, I think they jumped the gun there.
Yeah, I definitely like those cyber mutts though. Those are cool. I could see those being an Inquisitor's house.
Iron Warriors cultist right there.
Oh yeah.
Right.
So you were saying you think it's too complicated as well?
Yeah, for a quick skirmish game, what it's supposed to be, it's very complicated. Like, I get some games are fun when they're complicated, like Titanicus. You have a little battle board, and it's like you're playing MechWarrior. In that setting and sense, it's really fun to be complicated because you want extra rules to venture your Titans and to see if your data banks or cores and stuff overload. That's fun. But when you have like a little street skirmish of Space Marines and Guardsmen shooting at each other, that's not fun. I mean, it's all about the context of the miniatures you're using and the mindset you have when you're playing that game. In Titanicus, you know what you're going in for. It's way more crunchy, and you get that. When you think of Kill Team, you're like, oh, you are already used to the concept of 40K, which is pretty fluid, pretty easy to pick up. And then when you go into Kill Team, you're like, what is this?
Yeah.
It has its own special dice for stuff.
Well, and that's the thing is the older version of Kill Team, the kind of prototypical game, was very easy to play because it was just a very slight adaptation of regular 40K. The back in the day version, when I had my little guard Kill Team that was patterned after the Tanith First and Only, but not, it was super fun to play because everybody's got like no more than 10 minis, and you just have like these super specialist guys that go in there and try and wreck house, and really didn't see Space Marines in those sort of games, except for scouts. But it was fairly even footing for everybody, and it was a lot of fun. And then that version just wrecked.
We did Crash and I a long time ago did a Kill Team scenario before there was Kill Team. Crash was running a campaign, and there was this like radar installation, and I was attacking it with my Chaos Space Marines. I think I had 3 Berserkers and like 3 Chaos Marines, so a Kill Team.
Yeah.
And the Berserkers were just mowing through everything so fast that normal Chaos Space Marines couldn't keep up. They were like 2 whole corridors behind the Berserkers.
They were, because the Berserkers would sweeping advance back when we still had sweeping advance. They would charge, kill, sweeping advance, charge, kill, sweeping advance. And the Chaos Marines were way behind in the facility, and the Khorne Berserkers just tore through everything.
I remember those days. Nova had a Khorne army, Chaos Marine army, and I had perfectly placed. What were those guys? There was something with heavy weapons. It was either guard or might have been Space Marine Devastators in a series of buildings, and he sweeping advanced into each one. It was just like boing, 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 boing around the board. It's just like munch, 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 and it was.
As much as somebody play in that army, it was super fun.
Oh yeah.
I'm glad they got rid of it because it did not make a fun experience for your opponent.
Oh no. I knew it was a possibility playing you and knowing you, so it didn't surprise me back, but it was, definitely, it was actually hilarious because it was the last little squad of dudes had like something just heavy enough for a Terminator to worry about, because you had Lightning Claw Khorne Terminators. I remember that. And you just barely, you were like an inch away or like 2 inches away. You just barely failed that consolidation move, and I just mowed them down. And that was exactly what you were hoping didn't happen. So you ended up with like going from like 10 Terminators to like 2.
So to circle back real quick before we get too far from it, in regards to Kill Team complexity versus like Adeptus Titanicus complexity, I don't mind complexity as long as it adds to the game.
Agreed completely.
If you have, for instance, BattleTech, is a little too much. It actually detracts from the game. It slows the game down in ways that aren't necessary.
Yeah.
And Kill Team slows the game down in ways that aren't fun. I'd be fine with complexity in the game as long as it added to the game, but it doesn't. It slows the game down in ways that are not fun. You spend 5 minutes just figuring out your nerve checks for, your warband based on who has wounds, who doesn't, who's messed up, who isn't.
Yeah, who's shaken or whatever the condition is called.
Just having, everybody having a multitude of wounds to represent a smaller scale force and adapting 40K a little bit more closely. I think they went a little too far off base. Titanicus, from what I've seen of it being played, the complexity does add to it. It adds to the flavor.
Oh, here we go.
40K! Come on, Lehman Russ.
That's Mechanicum.
Yeah.
The Magnetic 7.
Oh, Mechanicum versus
Gene Stealer Cults.
Gene Stealer Cults?
Yeah, that's
Billy
The Nid.
Dig it.
Oh.
Something more cowboy themed?
Wait a minute.
What on earth?
The Dimensional Planes Drifter? This is the model that was hiding behind the monolith in that preview.
Yep.
That's a lot
Hey.
of pistols.
That looks very, ouch.
Hex
Oh, that
Mark
just looks all
Destroyer.
kinds of unpleasant to put together.
Every now and again, the team who make the videos for Warhammer TV just do something so far.
Because you know, all those little tubes and stuff,
Uh-huh.
so hard to get them to line up properly.
But it looks cool.
Yes, it does.
I want one, and I don't even play Necrons.
Just a Hexmark Destroyer. What is a Hexmark Destroyer? And here you ask, well, it's this guy. So we know what destroyers are. Destroyers in the Necron lore effectively are a subcult of the Necrons who have dedicated themselves to the destruction of all organic life. They've decided that, you know what,
I thought they were corrupted, not
harnessing
dedicated.
the power of the lesser races. I just want to see them all
I
destroyed.
always thought they,
So there are cults within the Necron.
because they described it as like extreme nihilism, so I just thought they were like super depressed robots.
This guy is the head
Oh, what is the robot's name from Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy?
And at least in the 5th and I think 7th edition codexes, it said that the normal lords have an inkling that the destroyers will eventually turn on them once all like organic life has been killed. But until then, they're like, nah.
I still hate this color scheme. I hate that
Yeah.
the word brass. I just don't like it.
In some ways, to characters like the Gene Stealer Calamorph, or kind of.
But that is a nice model.
Pistol-toting, short-range.
I want one.
Characters. In game terms, he is designed basically to just blast through vast amounts of light infantry who might be like hiding.
Nova, I'm going to need you to get me like 5.
Hiding in
Did he say blast through vast amounts of light infantry? How many shots are those guns each?
and he will blast through. He's got some.
I don't know, but I bet the internet is going to be on fire trying to find the leak of the rules for him.
Right. So there's 6 tubes coming out, but I only see 5 pistols.
Yeah.
Yeah, the other one's on the, like held up behind his back or something.
Very, very.
They showed it in the
He does another.
Oh, when
Video
he
pretty well.
turned around.
yeah.
Okay.
So he's got 6 pistols. Yeah, I do not want to build that model. I mean, I want to buy that model, but I'm not looking forward to it. And I don't get why, with that many eyeballs or eye-looking things, he needs scopes on his guns. I mean, he's all hardwired together. You'd think
I don't
that
think
would
those
just
are
be
scopes.
Yeah, I don't think those are scopes either.
This is so
at
much.
the top of the.
Yeah, I think those are just connectors, because you see on the arm the tube goes right up to it,
So,
Yeah,
and the tube's from that power source on its back.
yeah. See, it'd be sweet if this dude could like teleport in or something like that and get him into combat quick.
Aim for the glowy bits.
He needs a long slide laser scope to get there, Connor.
Imagine him, like, he just never stops firing. Like, as soon as he's within range of enemies, just keeps on shooting until basically.
Maybe it does like teleport or tunnel or
It's quite long.
something into combat. That
I mean, Necron could use some more deep strikers.
I'm
amen to that.
hoping all these new 3-legged destroyers have some kind of scuttling rule to where they can advance and charge when they're coded.
I don't see how charging would be to his advantage personally, but I mean, yeah, that would be cool to see.
I mean, if those are pistols, then he could fire them in melee.
That's true.
I mean,
That's
not
true.
fight phase, but in melee.
Yeah.
I'm more scared of las guns rapid firing than I am from guardsman's fists hitting my model.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Rapid fire las guns can put out a press of fire.
Well,
especially
especially-
if you're doing like first rank fire, second rank fire, and orders and stuff.
You read my mind, Nova. That's exactly what I was going to say. Oh.
Yeah, so there's 2 new expansions coming from Warhammer 40,000. We're going to
Nice.
a little bit about both of them. One of them is a match play book, which is the chapter 3 mission pack for tactical deployment. Really exciting book for match play players. And the other one is one I'm particularly excited about, which is the first expansion for Crusade, which is called Beyond the Veil. So this is a little bit of the shape of things to come for Warhammer 40,000. This is a book for
Looks
anybody.
a lot like Warcry stuff to me.
Crusade fail, and it's set inside the pariah nexus. So what this effectively allows you to do,
Maybe. I think these are just mission packs, though, for the different types of play, which is really cool.
Yeah, I'm okay with this. I think that's something 40K has kind of lost in the last 2 editions.
30,594 viewers.
find relics that only exist within you can gain battle scars.
But no, I'm fine with mission packs and things like this. This is good.
Yeah, I think it'll help the hobby. I think it'll bring back some of the because I know 6th and 7th really saw a major loss of casual gamers to the hobby. The less casual folks definitely stuck around, but I can't tell you how many people I know that were casual players that don't play 40K after 6th and 7th editions. They just dropped it and never looked back because of
If any of our newer players are coming in and they're new to the game, that's because 7th had something called, as an umbrella term, Decurion detachments, and they were terrible for the game. Absolutely terrible from a balance perspective.
Yes.
Yeah.
I mean, that and the Bark Star and the different stars and they're to our newer players. The star units, I mean, there were these mixed amalgamation units usually that were really hard to kill and just had a hideous number of attacks or shots, usually attacks, that would just blob into everything and you couldn't kill them fast enough or even at all in some cases to really have a chance of winning. So you didn't really see them a whole lot in casual play, but to be honest, with the exodus of casual players going on, you didn't see a whole lot of casual play anyhow. I mean, everything was so, everybody testing out their tournament armies before a tournament. That's when you would go to your friendly local gaming shop. That's what you saw a lot of in 6th and 7th edition, especially, and early 8th, I'd say too.
I played a little 6th edition, but I didn't touch 7th.
Yeah, not with a stick.
Didn't care for the formations.
I think we played 7th once, Crash, and that was the game where, like, you didn't tell me you're bringing your tournament list. I was like,
Yeah.
but that's my normal list.
Yep. That was fun.
Hey, look at that. Sun's coming up.
Very, very salty. I showed up thinking we were going to have a fun little game since we hadn't played together in years, and I got stomped into the ground and then got my face smeared into the dirt just for good measure.
To be fair,
it was rather salty.
To be fair, it is Nova Star we're talking about, and that's just how he plays. I'm sorry. It's just, I mean, at some level, you should have kind of expected a little bit of that.
I learned at the Mountain of Lucas, and I took one aspect of his teaching. No, that's another thing that we've talked about in a previous episode, is you always definitely want to talk to your opponent and manage the expectation of the type of game you want to play.
Yeah.
So as Crash just pointed out, he was expecting a really laid back, chill, casual game. And actually, so was I. But against my normal opponents, what I brought would be considered our laid back, casual game. It just happens to be like really cutthroat tournament lists.
Yeah.
So it's always a good idea just to, hey, what do you want to bring? What kind of game you want to play? Just always have that pre-chat.
Yeah.
Because both players went in thinking something totally different. And each one was just playing to what they normally played to.
Yeah.
Neither player was wrong. It's just when you don't have that communication, then you get the feel bads.
Yeah.
And it is a perfect example, especially with Nova and I being cousins and having been, pretty close for a long time. And it did not occur to me to have that conversation, and it should have.
Same here.
But
Whereas that's something I typically do with most of my opponents because of that reason. Well, I actually learned from y'all's lesson there. So,
well, and I know with you there, El Scotcho, you prefer more narrative, thematic games.
yeah.
I tend to bring more thematic armies, more thematic, except when I was testing that gunline Tyrannid army and your poor orcs.
Yeah, no, the orcs got obliterated. But when you tried it out again, and I did it with the Space Marine bikers, that wasn't as bad. Actually, you could not kill that unit, and you were mad.
No, I mean, Space Marine bikers with storm shields, they were company veterans with storm shields. I mean,
yeah,
they're pretty hard to move.
yeah, they are. I mean, they got bogged down in that tar pit of melee, but because they couldn't do enough attacks to really chop their way out of it successfully. But
And units like that look like they're pretty useful this edition. You park
Yep.
them on an objective and just let your enemy try and clear them.
yeah, tar pits are going to be a thing again. I mean, I definitely, especially with the Crusade stuff, I'm anticipating seeing like we had mentioned, with the additional wound that mini Marines or classic Marines, if you want to call them that, are getting, the boost to Thousand Suns is going to be a gnarly unit to try and push off of an objective.
What I like is I like the change to the tar pit, though. It's not
Hey,
that you're trying to kill
just,
30 guys.
Sorry to interrupt, guys.
Right,
One of
so
the
it's-
things about this new book they're showing on screen is going to have a lot more rules for terrain and interactions with it.
I'm okay with this.
Me too. Oh, master terrain to control the battlefield.
From there,
Um,
you can play a complete campaign, or you can play a complete tournament, a match play tournament using the contents of this tactical deployment. It's a really good.
Yeah, I mean, you're going to see two versions of tar pit. You're going to see either melee or shooting tar pit, I'm thinking. And your classic shooting one's going to be like the Thousand Suns, with their probably maybe even their Terminators, but definitely their normal Rubric Marines. And then you're going to see like veteran Marines with storm shields and chainswords for the melee.
another effective tactic that I'm seeing people talk about online is using throwaway units to grab an objective. You have to have enough firepower to clear the enemy off of it, and then you put a throwaway unit on the objective. You hold it that turn, score your points. Your enemy's going to clear them, so it's a suicide squad.
Yeah.
But
There's a release coming out alongside that as well.
Yeah.
There
ooh,
absolutely is.
Ooh.
That's cool looking.
that is cool looking.
The first time we saw this.
Not a huge fan of those pipelines, just in general, personally. They don't tend to,
This obviously
they look really nice and pretty on the box, but when you get to the actual table, getting them to line up and do what you want them to do is kind of a pain.
imperial worlds that lie within the Necron.
They're great looking, though.
Set your games in the Brian.
That's almost exactly what I picture when I think of like a ruined Forge world.
You have to just build them a little base, Scott. That way they're stuck to it.
Yeah,
It'll be harder to move around or bump over.
that's true.
Match play games. But
I really like that set.
these boxes with these new terrain give you a really nice way to.
Sounds like I'm going to have to get a laser cutter so that I can make myself some NDF bases to put these things on.
I think you and Crash went to a game say, and you guys built me a piece of terrain. I still have that somewhere.
That's cool. I didn't know. I forgot all about that. Yeah, oh man, I miss Games Day. I wish they'd start that up again.
It's called the LVO.
I mean, it more or less is.
Yeah, but the whole
Adepticon-
Games Day concept, bouncing around the country, was the cool part, I think.
Well, I mean, Adepticon, the LVO,
Warhammer.
Nova Open.
Nova Open. I mean, there's several major tournaments that are pretty much conventions at this point. I mean, Adepticon is a straight up convention, but at this
It
point,
has
the
tournaments.
LVO is more or less a convention too.
Yeah.
So I mean, they really are a replacement for Games Day. But
I mean,
there was something to be said for Games Day.
Yeah, when one person would say "wow," and the whole room would just scream it back at the top of their lungs. That was great.
And the room shook
Yeah.
because everybody was shouting.
You know that the other people that were in that convention center, because there was like 2 other conventions going on that day, were like, what is going on over there? Poor Atlanta had no idea what to do with that.
We'll be right back after this.
Another preview.
ooh, come on, Giants.
Ooh, that would be cool.
Warcry. Okay, I'm down. What?
Is this just going to be the Dark Elf and... Oh, no, this is Warcry, not Beastgrave.
So are those games that was this is Sparta moment there. Splat. That sounds painful. What?
Oh,
Yeah, those look like dark elves to me. Oh. Oh. I'm already interested in Warcry. Stop trying to take my money, Games Workshop. Warcry Catacombs.
I like it.
This is Warcry. That was amazing. How exciting. Eddie.
But we already had a preview for that months ago.
Yep.
But I still dig it.
Yeah. I don't know. Warcry, I think the coolest thing about it is it's a really good way to get an intro to Age of Sigmar without having to commit to an entire army.
Well, I mean, to go back to our earlier conversation, it's Age of Sigmar Kill Team.
Yeah, it is, but it's actually less complicated than Kill Team.
No, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
It's Kill Team the way Kill Team should be.
Amen to that.
If they do a Kill Team version 2, they should model it after Warcry's rules.
Absolutely. Now, historically, though, since Age of Sigmar has come out, it's been sort of the test bed for new 40K rules. I mean, if you pay attention. So I think that's definitely a possibility. They may not call it Kill Team. They may adapt it into something new, just to kind of shed the I mean, it doesn't make sense to me, but it's entirely possible because Games Workshop does do that sometimes. Drop the name because it got a bad flavor and change it around or something like that. Or maybe it'll be Kill Team.
Those fire dudes look really cool.
Yeah, they do.
I want both sets of guys.
I like that battle mat, actually.
Well, luckily, that all comes in the box set.
Well, I'm
Just
going to
as
need a
planned.
box set. All right. Games Workshop's always got their hand in my wallet.
I know. I mean, can you imagine working there? Oh, man. I'd never have a paycheck.
Oh, it's terrible.
I would love to work for Games Workshop, though.
I ordered quite a few things when I worked for Games Workshop.
I'll bet you did.
Well, isn't there employee rate?
There
Something
is.
like-
It's 50% off.
No.
Oh,
Well,
oh,
it used to be in England, at least, that they bought it by the actual physical weight of the plastic that they were trying to buy.
Not for a long time. It hasn't been like that.
No. It's still half off of all Games Workshop would be so nice.
Have off everything. So Black Library, Forge World,
Ooh.
and you could also say you could borrow against future paychecks and pay for stuff.
Oh my gosh, that's a horrible idea.
terrible.
Yeah, I didn't do that, but when I went to Warhammer World, one of the guys told me, He's like, yeah, someone bought a whole new high for me. You just can't eat this month.
It's a glorious.
That is, I mean, yeah, it gets people into the game and all that if they work there. But wow, that's astonishingly bad business practice.
No, I'd at least put it on a credit card and then pay it off, so I'd be getting credit or miles or something.
Yeah,
I wouldn't just do that from my work.
That really is so cool, that playmat.
oh yeah, you could use that in 40K too. I mean,
Your little team.
yeah, oh yeah, but it's a dual purpose mat.
I
I've
think
noticed
2 or 4 of those mats, between 2 and 4, make up the new 40K board size.
yeah.
4?
They're 22 by 30.
Mm.
But I would love to play Kill Team on something like that. And I mean, it really probably wouldn't be that hard to make 40K Warcry, so to speak.
Yeah.
I mean, they have the foundation, from the rules with Warcry. I can't imagine it would be that hard to change it to 40K.
Was that an alternate if you flip that mat over?
Yeah, it looks like it. Not a huge fan of that mat as much. That fire one was really cool though.
That looks rather 40K on that side, honestly.
I honestly think so too, especially with those ruins. But it is some of the same minis. And there's an 8-pointed chaos looking star barrier thing, the spiky barrier sort of center bottom.
Well, that's where they're fighting, is the 8 points of chaos.
Yeah.
Ugh.
Those new fire
you
dudes are
get
cool.
both the underground train and this above ground train in that box.
Oh, that's not bad. There we go.
Oh,
Ooh. So I see 2 witches, an assassin, 3 assassins, really.
What I love about these, they hint back to that really old kind of
That snake
I
tail
absolutely
lady.
need that warband.
Oh, yeah.
I need it. It's a requirement. If this is how they do up the Dark Elves,
The
I imagine
Druid.
it will.
Oh, yeah.
I'm sure. But, oh,
You mean you don't like the blood priestess ones there, Crash? I know.
the models are great looking. I just don't really care for the flavor of it. I liked the, well, like he just said, the classic Dark Elves.
Yeah. The whole cult of Cain going lawful evil and siding with Sigmarites didn't make much sense to me.
So, I mean, in their lore, they're not good. They're just not chaos. They're not undead, and they're not order destruction.
Yeah.
So they fit into the order faction just because they don't fit into the other 3.
Ooh, there's those new
That's it.
fire dudes.
Oh, I mean, he did say lawful evil.
Yeah.
I really like that commander looking dude with the shoulder pads.
Looks
I
like
like
he's
the-
in like chaos samurai armor.
Yeah.
Barbarian
Yeah.
shit down there.
That's really cool.
I mean, the only model on here I don't like is I don't like the helmet on the sorceress all the way to the left there.
Yeah, that's a bit ridiculous. But hey, I mean,
Love the rest of that warband.
I really like the dude that they painted up like that one actor from. I remember the first time I saw him was in Gladiator. He was Russell Crowe's right hand dude in that movie. The guy that helped. I can't remember his
Like
real name.
Demon Hansu.
Yeah, that's the one.
I don't think that's quite how you say his name, but
Yeah, that's the guy. You're right. Kind of looks that way though. The dude with the wavy sword and the chakram.
and like the chakram punch dagger thing.
Yeah. which is really cool weapon. I mean, I don't know how useful it would be in the real world, but it's cool. And what is with this guy with the flaming rebar at the bottom center here? It looks like he's holding a piece of rebar with fire
I
on
need
it.
that warband too, so I'm gonna need this box set when it comes out.
Oh, you know, I think what happened is I lost shiny model syndrome, and I think Crash got it real bad. Oh, new one.
Oh, another one.
Ooh.
Lumineth
Yep.
Realm Wars.
Oh yeah, definitely. It's even got a fancy little tree.
Channel the river elemental. Oh, it's the water shrine. It's the waterbenders. And that's the cowbender.
Waterbenders.
That's a cowbender, did you say?
It's how you it's the person you get to go make your steaks, the cowbender.
Oh man.
This is probably just an L4 band.
Yeah, maybe for like a Warcry, Beastgrave, whatever tie-in. Is Beastgrave kind of the same thing? Like Warcry, but different, slightly different flavor. Oh, this is Underworlds.
So Beastgrave is more like Magic the Gathering, but with some miniatures as well.
Oh, Warhammer Underworlds?
Yeah.
Beastgrave to Chasm. Okay.
So there we have it. Then.
Yeah, I haven't
Next
really
season-
understood Warhammer Underworlds. What have you played it at all, there, Nova?
No,
Yeah, so this is,
but it's a deck builder with models.
Meh.
So
I know it's very popular.
yeah, you each have a Magic style deck. You build it yourself out of all the cards available. Card packs come out with warbands, and then you make a warband like tailored to that. So it's a combination, very small skirmish, because you're never going to have more than I think 5 or 6 models in a very tight arena, and then you're also using from your deck of cards like abilities and stuff.
Not for me.
So
but
it's this strange mishmash of like Magic the Gathering and Kill Team.
I know.
But it's very fast. You can play like 3 games of it in 40, 50 minutes, I think.
Yeah, that's what Frankie was saying quite a while back on Signals from the Front Line, was that it plays very, very quickly.
Yep, so I think.
And I know it's grown significantly at the LVO.
his
I think
little
they had like a 100-person tournament for it.
hawk monkey thing. Well, I don't know what that is that he's holding, but
Probably an owl.
looks like an owl mixed with something. I don't know. But anyway.
I like getting the models specifically because then you could sub them in for your normal units and just have something unique looking.
Yeah.
Although dude's top knot is that
On
looks like
point.
it would hurt.
Dude, that's a top knot to make Abaddon proud.
His head's not shaved enough underneath the top knot.
So yeah, there's going to be one of the cow bending hammer guys from the Lumineth. Looks like a ooh, that is a Slanesh
Yes.
Beastman with back.
Yeah.
Well, I'm buying this box.
Yeah,
It's got Lumineth guys for you and guys for your Slanesh Demon Army.
Right.
I have noticed the models that come in these sets are really, really cool.
Yeah,
Hey,
they're super duper cool.
I will say something about the Lumineth, that weird double string bow thing that they got going on. That's an interesting concept. I wonder if it would work at all.
They're fantasy compound bows. They are pretty
Yeah.
sweet. If anyone's interested, I have a very large Slanesh Demon Army. It is all modeled after the movie Big Trouble in Little China, and I will be posting pictures of it to our Facebook group, Armchair Generals. And I think we can probably embed a link in our video for that Facebook group too, if you guys want to check it out.
All right, let's see if we get anything else here.
This very, we'll
I
save that.
almost want them to hurry up so I can get like another hour of sleep before work.
I gotta go get a haircut after this. I shall not look as shaggy for our next video, you guys.
Almost. Maybe kind of stuff. Warband in Warhammer Underworlds, and effectively what happens is every single
Oh, and the nice thing about those little underworlds
or maybe
war bands, they're like $25-$30.
Yeah,
Boom,
they're
you have
not
everything you need to
expensive.
play the game, except for an opponent.
we have one of the things.
Oh, sorry. I get too excited.
And they do.
We've got one of the things to talk to you about. So this is Beast Grave Arena.
Beast Graves. And they do have very good character models.
One more gift.
Oh, 100%. Just buying these boxes to pluck them out and use them as a character or a squad leader or something. They're amazing for that.
Yeah. If they adapt a 40K version of this, that'd be nice to see as, you know, little one-off models.
I'd be fine with Warcry. I mean, 40K version of this would be interesting.
Yeah.
I just want to
They're
see.
trying to do it with an app.
I don't think we want to talk about that app.
Come on, combat cards is cool, man.
Oh,
I think you
OGW.
guys are talking about two different apps.
Yeah, I think he's talking about the Army Builder app, and I'm talking about the game.
I was just talking about the Warhammer 40K app.
Oh, yeah.
It's,
That thing.
It's better than launch date.
That's not hard. I
Ugh.
mean, I can't program anything, and I think I could have done at least a little bit better. For the foreseeable, I will still be using the Battle Scribe.
Ooh,
Boom.
Million Skink.
There you go, Crash. So we know you like your Seraphon.
Yeah, so ever since we first announced the Warhammer Underworld's existing at all, more than 3 years ago now, the most requested warband we had almost from day one was the Seraphon, and I think what we have one of the warbands next season in Diachasm will be the Seraphon. And as you can see here, we've got a model to show you, and I think if the rest of the warband look even half as cool as this guy, it's going to be probably the best of the warband.
Yes.
That is what the chameleon skinks should have always looked like.
I ran a chameleon skink heavy army, and this guy's like the best one. Look at what, if you haven't already noticed, guys, he's got a frog strapped to his waist and something to paintbrushes, not paintbrushes, they're poison darts ready to be taken out.
I did, yeah, he's got a frog as a holster. The darts are shoved into a poison frog mouth.
It's really
That's
funny.
awesome. It's like, come here, you're my poison supply.
Oh, that's Warhammer in a nutshell, isn't it?
It is.
The one chameleon skink looks like a hunter of chaos. And obviously, there is a unit of them now you can take into Seraphon armies, but that unit, I think, with greatest respect to them, is quite a few years old now. So I think what this model basically does, if you could make one of these guys right now with the technology and the skill the Citadel Miniatures team have, what would it look like? And this, it looks amazing. Like he's so cool. He's got that kind of slightly, almost kind of cute aesthetic that skinks have, but also completely alien. He's definitely a kind of sentient skink at the same time as being a weird alien kind of reptile creature. And I think you're right, that kind of little frog tied to his waist with the blow pipes in is very cool.
Yeah, that frog needs to be a brighter color. They chose a poor color scheme on the frog. I mean, those poison dart frogs that they have in the tropical areas of South America are all super brightly colored black and with little tiny hints of yellow. Could have definitely
Had a bit of Warcry
the
and the next season announcement.
brown on the rope kind of blends into it a little bit.
Hit the next video and see what else you
Another video.
Sorry, I got
Ooh,
what?
is this the next campaign? Daughters of Cain versus Slanesh?
What's going on? I think they're having.
Oh, new
malfunctions.
character models.
We're not seeing it here.
Yeah, there's a whole really cool preview of Daughters of Cain. Yeah, it's a new box called Shadow and Pain.
Well, that would have been nice if my screen had moved.
Yeah. We're still stuck on the.
So, Shadow of Pain, Eddie, that's the lowdown.
Oh, that's awesome.
Adam, so this is a brand new battle box on its way from Warhammer Age of Sigmar, and as we can see, it contains.
Well, I guess Crash and I will have to watch that separately. There.
Well, that was annoying.
You guys have the picture now?
Yeah.
Okay. So what they showed was it's going to be Daughters of Cain versus Mortals and / Demons of Slanesh. And of course, it's going to have a new character model for each of those factions in there. So a new Medusa snake lady for the Daughters of Cain, and like this really cool armored Chaos Lord for Slanesh.
I don't know. Oh, there we go. Okay. Digging that. I mean,
I need another chariot. I don't need the riders or the demonettes, but the character will be cool.
I'm curious why they chose a mace for an army that's supposed to be all about finesse and subtlety. That just doesn't seem like a very finessable weapon.
Oh, yeah, sorry, yeah, I just
The Lord there.
Lord of Pain is absolutely
It's not always about subtlety. I mean, it's also about sensation.
great.
So maybe he just loves the sensation of smacking someone with a mace. Like they'll take that to the nth degree.
Well, they
That's-
just named him as the Lord of Pain.
Oh. Okay, that makes sense then. I like those whip cavalry back there, or it looks like they're armed with whips.
Yeah, those are Hellflayers of Slanesh.
Oh, there he is.
He's got like a bridle on.
I mean, they are all about that.
I like the shoes.
Yeah, the pointy shoes. He looks like he's got some hooks in his flesh in the back there, too.
Yeah, he does.
I don't get the big hook above his head. Like, it doesn't
The
make.
giant spike just to spike someone if he headbutts him.
Yeah, it's a blade though, not just
Oh,
a
that
spike.
bleed on his back?
Yeah,
Who knows? Maybe he throws a enemy up there and uses him as a trophy for a little bit.
I mean, aesthetically, it's cool looking, but you're right. It makes no sense.
yeah.
I don't think I like it. I mean, technically, it is a cool looking model, but
Yeah.
it doesn't does it for me. I would get him and put him on a chariot, use him as like a charioteer.
Oh, yeah, that would look good.
It kind of looks like a Warcraft troll.
Almost, yeah.
Yeah.
This character, I think, looks way cooler.
I think it froze on me and Crash again.
You had the snake hero up there.
Yeah, there we go.
Had to pause and hit play again. I don't know what's going on.
I dig that one way more.
Do you see the little hearts on her belt?
Yes, I do. Hang on the center picture there, Crash. Right next to her tabard.
Oh, no, I see it.
Oh, okay. Sorry, you just looked like you were peering to.
I was just looking at all the detail on.
Yeah. I'm betting that that's meant to be a magic user because that staff definitely only has one end that looks weapon-like.
Well, maybe. You know, I would actually buy this box because it came with a bunch of the snake ladies, and they're really cool.
Yeah.
And Daughters of Cain are a really good army too.
Are they?
Yeah, they're one of the top 3 armies, I think, in AOS.
Oh, wow.
They're super fast. They're super hitty, and they can also get basically avatars from Eldar. You set them up as terrain pieces, and during the game, like the more you kill, they activate and start coming alive. And they're these big,
Oh.
like, just murder statues.
That's pretty cool. I like the paint scheme. I mean, the little variations on the
Yeah.
And
scales and
what
things
they,
like
what,
that.
what they represent is in AOS, the elves have actually captured Slanesh and imprisoned him, and they literally just gut punched him until he started barfing up elf souls, and
Yeah.
they use those souls to create all the elves to, like, I guess, reincarnate them. And Marathi got the a new Marathi book,
Yeah.
and Marathi got a kind of the broken, unhinged ones. That's what became the Daughters of Cain. That's why they're all twisted into like snake elves or harpy elves.
Well, and then who got the underwater elves?
So that was Teclis's first shot at making elves, and he failed. And he was about to old yeller them in the backyard, and Tyrion's like, "No, don't do it." And the underwater elves are like, "Oh God, he's going to kill us!" So they fled as far away from him as they could, which is underwater, and that's why they live there now. And so his second shot at the elves are Lumineth, and he more or less got it right.
Got it.
Necklace is a jerk.
Yeah,
I mean-
he's a big jerk in AOS.
He kind of was before too. So I mean,
And Marathi actually has a really cool model in AOS, and she's a dual model. So you play with her as like a dark elf sorceress, and then anytime you want during the game, or I think if a certain thing happens, like if she's about to die, she'll instantly trigger into this giant snake Medusa elf form. And I'm hoping they use something like that mechanic for Leman Russ, like you have normal Leman Russ, and then you can like
Wolfen.
Hulk out into like a Wolfen Leman Russ.
I'm okay with this.
Basically an old man Russ, like old man Logan.
You know, I'd be down. Though we still don't know really if Primarchs can age, because the only one that's like Loyalist Primarch that's come back was in stasis for 10,000 years. So
Yeah, so the ones who aren't in stasis are Russ, Jagati, and
Jagatai.
yeah, Jagatai, and
Korak.
no one knows where Vulcan is. Or Korax, yeah. So they could definitely maybe age.
Yeah, we'll
We just
see.
don't know.
We don't know for sure that Rogel Dorn is dead either.
I'm gonna chalk him up to dead. Iron Warriors killed him, and they only left a hand.
All that was ever found of him was a hand.
Yeah, they destroyed the rest. They put him in a wood chipper.
No body, no proof.
Wood chipper.
That's true, actually. In 40K, that's more relevant than in.
Is Slanesh escaping? Look at this picture.
It does look a little bit like some elements of
It looks like a giant crab claw with a horn.
It's
One
literally
eye.
Slanesh.
Yeah, so that is literally Slanesh being held by umbral chains, and what he's been doing is slowly replacing them with fakes, by sending some of his own energy through. So when the elves like sense them, they actually think that it's their chain still. Ooh, Ideneth versus Daughter of Cain. That's cool artwork.
Yeah, it is.
Cool artwork. I like the Deepkin. think
I
they're
do too.
They have a neat thing, especially how an underwater army would come fight yours. Like their little backstory is really neat.
I just like the flying sharks. I won't lie.
Yeah, they're really cool.
You know what? Oh, I just got a cool idea for your Carcharodons there, Nova. You could totally pilfer the legs from some Thunderwolf cavalry
Mm-hmm.
and put them on some flying sharks and make some
giant running shark.
Yes, for Carcharodons.
I know a lot of people in the Carcharodon community will take Iden as swords and weapons, and they look really good on Marines.
Oh, that's cool. Now you need to do the sharks.
So it sounds like this Broken Realms is going to be kind of like a AOS Psychic Awakening.
Yeah, so,
Hey,
AOS needs it.
Well, they had a prototype before. What was it called? I don't remember, but it led up to the Necroquake, which led up basically to their second edition. And then 40K expanded on it and had, I think, a better run at Psychic Awakening. So now I think they're redoing it for Sigmar.
hey, I'm not opposed. I mean, keeping the game progressing, even if we don't personally necessarily play it right now.
Yeah, anytime they move the story forward is better. I
Yeah,
think you're right.
as long as they don't, do like they did with 7th edition ever again, please.
I'm surprised we haven't seen anything really big for 40K.
Bring new lore and content for all of the variants.
Yeah, just the little gunslinger dude.
Only the start.
I don't know. Was that Tyranid Gene Stealer cults guy new?
The
from
Keller
that?
Morph? No.
No.
He's from the 8th edition release of Gene Stealer Colts.
Okay.
He's a really cool pistolier. He's got 3 pistols. He can show up next to you, and he has a sniper rule, so he can shoot characters.
Ooh. I mean,
And then I would think for every hit that you roll, you get another hit, which I don't think can generate hits, but maybe it can. But basically, he can just blaze away with his pistols.
so he's like a Gene Stealer cults version of
A rap.
Cypher. Oh.
Well,
Not as much 40K as I wanted to see, but I mean, I'm actually.
Definitely a lot more Age of Sigmar focused, I think.
which
Which isn't bad because we did just get hit with a new edition. We have been inundated with new Necrons and new Marine stuff, so they got to show the other games some love too.
that's where I would expect them to keep the hype rolling, though.
Yeah, they're very weird about changing pitch like that. Instead of just stoking the fires up to 11, or like turning the volume up to 11 or whatever. They just take it to 10 and slowly back down a little bit and then take it to 10 again.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know.
Well, they are British.
That's another thing I wanted to say. I actually was going to bring it up. Please, Games Workshop, you already make all your stuff in the U.S. Just move to Memphis. That way we don't have to get up at ridiculous early in the morning to watch these videos that you guys do. I mean, you could still have Warhammer World in. Sorry, Crash. Go ahead. I didn't mean to cut you off.
Oh, no, I was saying I don't know why you'd want anyone to move to Memphis.
Well, that's where they chose to headquarters themselves. I think it's a bit silly, too, because Memphis is not the nicest place in the U.S., but, it makes sense from a logistics standpoint. It is, not quite smack in the middle, but, you got the Mississippi River right there. You got major airports. And
I'd be surprised if they didn't move their headquarters to Irvine with the Warhammer Cafe in Texas.
Oh, please, dear. Oh, okay. Yeah, that's fine. I thought you were talking about Irvine, California. It's like, no.
No, not that one.
Irvine where?
I thought it was Irvine, Texas. They have an Irvine, Texas, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Dallas. I don't know if it's said. It might be Irving instead of Irvine.
Oh, okay.
It was in that box there.
Okay, well,
It's close enough.
Any thoughts on what we've seen?
A little light on 40K, but everything looked really good.
Yeah. I can't complain as far as what we got for 40K again.
I mean, they showed off 3 new boxes, or at least 2 boxes that I want to buy.
Yeah. A lot of pretty minis. Not necessarily for systems that I'm playing right now. Maybe on down the road if we can.
I actually really want that Daughters of Cain half of that box with all those Melusai snakes.
Yeah. Sorry, y'all. It's early in the morning. Not trying to yawn, but
I think, unfortunately, where El Scotcho and I are at right now, there's really not a community for anything outside of the major games.
Yeah.
And even then, Age of Sigmar doesn't have much of a community here either. It's almost entirely 40K. And even then, it's hit or miss.
Yeah, and our friendly local game stores, weirdly, I mean, they have quite a selection of 40K, but I don't feel like they do the best supporting I mean, our area is kind of weird that way. There's a lot of games played in people's garages or, private games more to kind of versus, oh, wait, we got a
And
Horus
that is-
Heresy thing. Oh, that's just a repeat.
Is it a repeat?
Yeah, it is.
Oh, okay.
Kind of recap, I guess.
Probably.
I mean, to
I'm
be
excited
honest,
for that.
yeah, amen to that.
I want to cap off my collection.
See, I was already looking at playing Dark Angels in 30K. That's the new space, the Dark Angel Terminators we were talking about. Their Crash, they are pretty. No, too much.
I think you can actually already get those Terminators. I
You
believe
can.
they're for sale.
Yeah, they are.
I'll want to take a better look at them. I didn't like the preview shots they just showed.
Yeah, they're up on the Forge World website.
Yeah. So, yeah, I was already looking at potentially playing Dark Angels in the 30K just because but I don't know, honestly. I like almost all of the armies except for Word Bearers in 30K. I'm just not a
Yeah,
huge.
they're just echoing back through the previews.
Yeah.
September 4th.
Okay, well, we've given our thoughts. Anything else? Any closing thoughts on it all?
I don't think so. Thank you for everyone for joining us this morning, watching all these really cool previews from the G-Jubs.
Yeah. Keep it coming, Games Workshop. Keep up the pace. Even if it's not all 40K, keep it rolling. We like new models, and I mean, I think we could all use a little bit of relief from all the crap that's going on worldwide, especially here in the U.S. with all our protests and COVID lockdowns and all this other mess. Give us something to look at and look forward to.
All right. Well, with nothing else, we thank you for joining us. This has been the Armchair Generals, and thank you, Games Workshop, for the preview.
Thank you for joining us for today's video.
We hope you enjoyed your time with us.
If you did, please remember to smash that like button.
Hit subscribe and click that notification bell.
So you never miss a video from us.
Until next time, we are the Armchair Generals.